Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast about Prince here on podcastjuice.net. My name is Michael Dean. Also joining me is Mr. Big Sexy and Sax. Sir, how are you?
You know, I'm doing well. I got the new audio kit set up here, the swing arm mic boom doohickey. Still working on it, but it's working so far.
All right. Well, we upgrading ourselves. We have a special guest today. Man, this is taking me back to old school. The day I remember walking into Tower Records, I saw this young lady's face on the cover. I was like, what is this? So I'm like really excited here. Well, we have none other than Maneca Lightner, Miss Madhouse herself. Manisa, how are you? Hey,
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Great. We are blessed. We are excited to have you here today. Have you done a lot of interviews and stuff before? I feel like I haven't really heard
You know what? I've done a couple over the years. I have not done an interview. You know what? I don't even remember the last one I've done. Probably, if I had to guess, it's been about 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Well, you home right now, so relax. You know what I'm saying? You're here with your purple family. You know what I mean? So
awesome.
Yes. So let's just, if we can, first of all, how are you doing? How's things been going with you?
Things have been good. Yeah, you know, I have been running a sober living home. Yes. I own a sober living home, and it's been almost 2 years now. My oldest son has battled addiction for almost 10 years, okay. And that's been a hell of a roller coaster ride emotionally and mentally, which of course all that affects you physically. So it's been quite the challenge, but being thrust into that world of addiction that I had no clue about at one point, you know, I've learned a lot, and I decided that I wanted to open up a home that I would want my kid or loved one to be at, because seeing my son go in and out of treatment and homes and all that stuff, there's a lot of shadiness in this business. A lot
really?
of, you know, oh my God, it's all about the money for the most part. And so, you know, I delved into it. I talked to a lot of people. I don't know if you guys know about MusiCares. That's owned by the Grammys.
Oh, yes.
MusiCares is that's a great organization. And they helped me. The one person in particular that I became really good friends with, he helped me make that decision and to go ahead and try my hand at the sober living business. And it's been quite the challenge.
Okay.
And it's emotionally draining. But you know, there's some rewarding parts of it as well, especially when you can help an individual get back on their feet. How long they stay on their feet, well, that's another thing, because the drugs are so rampant out there these days. It's insanity.
Interesting.
So,
I remember, I don't know if it was a couple years ago, when I originally had asked you to come on the show. You were getting ready to get that started, and I always wondered, you know, how was that? Because that's got to be a lot of work. And obviously passion. It's a lot. It's a lot. So, you know, we'll see. I'm at this point considering that transitioning into foster care for age groups 18 to 24. Ooh, okay. Because what I did not know is that when a young person goes into foster care, they foster out of that home at age 18 or when they graduate high school. And then they don't have anywhere to go. So there was this huge homeless population of foster kids, because once you graduate, most of these teenagers aren't ready to just get an apartment and start living life as an adult. So there's a program that's been around, I believe, since 2012, where they
the state pays for them to be in this transitional home for a couple of years in case they want to go to junior college or whatever the case is. The home has to teach them about adulthood and living out on their own and, opening up bank accounts and applying for jobs and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Now, now you make me kind of want to ask a question about something, but I always want to keep things respectful. So you let me know if this sort of goes into something that...
Oh, please. Ask me whatever you want. Okay. And if I think it's over the top or I don't feel comfortable, I'll let you know. But usually I'm open.
Well, I was just kind of thinking, I mean, you talked about your son, was battling addiction. And I'm assuming that sort of helped you move into direction of starting your own safe place for people. And I'm just curious, and I don't know your full relationship with Prince and things of that nature, but I'm just curious, what are your thoughts? I mean, unfortunately, Prince, died of they say an overdose and things of that nature. And man, I don't know, I'm just thinking wow, it would have been so dope if it was a way that, he would have been in contact or other people that are going through things like that to be able to reach out to somebody like you, you know what I mean? And have a place where they can get help.
Yeah. I didn't know that Prince was on meds like that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of artists are, not just, people in the music industry, but anyone who puts strain on their body because they experience a lot of pain as you get older and they get dependent on painkillers. But I didn't know Prince's situation. I had not verbally spoken to Prince since I believe it was 98, 99.
Okay.
And so I just didn't know. But that would have been awesome had we been in contact with each other and,
Man, so we're going to listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the Prince stuff here, but I just want to ask this as well. How does a person, say if I was sort of struggling with something, not to say that I am, but if I was and I lived out there, now is this for women or is it for men, or how would a person, whether they're sex, how did they get to be able to come to your sober living home?
Okay. So, what happens is if you're struggling with addiction, you have to go through your phases of treatment. So the first step is detox. So you go into a detox center and you're there anywhere from 5 to 10 days. Next step is treatment or rehab. You're there maybe 3-4 weeks. Then you go into sober living. So if you're trying to find out, because that's how I was when it hit me with my son. I was like, oh my God, who do I call? Where do I go? And I went online and there's so much information and I didn't know where to start. I think the best thing to do is if someone were just to Google treating addiction, all kind of information will come up of here, you go to detox treatment and all that stuff. So once you get into treatment, they then start telling you, hey, here's this sober living home and this sober living home. There's also Sober Living Network, which is a huge organization that lists homes in different areas in California. Actually, I'm sure it's all around the country. You just put in your state and it brings up different homes. And even if that's the first place you start, that homeowner should say, okay, what have you been doing for your treatment? And if you say nothing, I just need a place to go, they'll say, you need to start a detox, so I'm going to help you.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's a lot of information out there, and it's overwhelming.
It'll help somebody. Somebody might be, that's the thing, we never know what people be going through, and I'm pretty sure there's somebody that, maybe their first part is them sort of admitting to themselves, and you know what, let me look. Where do I start looking for help? So it'll help somebody for sure.
Yeah.
I know, now, let me jump back into Entertainment Man. Now, if I was looking through the listing and I saw the listings and they had your face next to it, I'm going in. That's where I'm
I actually don't have my picture attached.
Sure.
So
So I'm like, they'd be like,
that's hilarious.
"Sir, what are you doing here?" I think I got a problem. I don't know. I'm trying to talk to
see if you can help me out.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I need to be evaluated. But anyway.
Right. That's too funny.
You're so wrong.
But let's go back. As I said at the beginning, back in 87, I remember walking into Tower Records. So those young ones who know what I'm talking about, was a record store. It used to be record stores. You could go buy music. Right. I used to go there every Friday. I would go and buy whatever. And we would search, we started the P section, Prince, whatever's new. But I remember one day, and actually this was on the second Madhouse album, but I remember going there one day and I saw the 12-inch for 10 and lost my mind. I was like, first I didn't know it was coming out, and I was just like, yo, what? and just was going crazy. Now, we went crazy on the first album cover. It was like, who is this? So I want to ask you, first of all, how did you meet Prince?
Okay, so it wasn't just a one-shot deal where it's like somebody introduced us. I actually met Prince when I was 16 because my best friend back in the day was a Prince fanatic, and I was not into Prince. This is when he first came out, back in 78, 79, whatever year that was. Okay. And he was coming to Denver for a concert, and he was doing an in-store at the record store. He's going to the record store to sign autographs and all that jazz, and she begged me to come with her, and I didn't really want to, and so I went, and he actually remembered this meeting too, but she was like, when I think about it, it's so funny when you're that young. She's like, my friend wants to know if we can get a kiss. She put it on me, but it was really her who wanted a kiss.
Hilarious.
And I remember him blushing because everything was still new to him back then too. And he says, well, if you come to my concert, we'll see. But we didn't go to the concert. She just wanted to get his autograph. So it wasn't until I was 19 that he came back, and we went to one of the shows, and it's just so strange when I think about it now, how many times it took before we actually verbally spoke. Saw him again at 19, saw him again that following year when I was 21, and then months later, this is all at concerts because my best friend, who kept track of everywhere he was going, somehow she would know what hotels he was staying at, all that.
Man. Now, was this just so we can have a frame of reference, is this, you remember what album or tour it was?
For Prince?
Like, yeah, when you said you saw him at 19.
Let's see.
Before Purple Rain?
I would guess 1999.
It was before Purple Rain.
Okay.
No, it was before Purple Rain.
Controversy, 1999, right around there.
Okay. It might have been Controversy because at 19, that was in 1982.
Okay. Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm giving away my age, but you must know I'm at least close to Prince's age.
Hey.
But
hey.
I'll be 56 in July. But anyway, so
just a puppy.
She calls me up when, huh?
You are just a puppy.
Just a puppy.
Just a puppy.
But she calls me up and says, she moves to Minneapolis, and she's like, hey, why don't you just come up here? You know, you're not really doing anything. You're always complaining about your job, blah, blah, blah. So I packed up my car because, you know, when you're young like that and you have no responsibilities, you can just get up and go. Mm-hmm. So drove with my cousin out to Minneapolis from Denver, get up there. So after driving 19 hours, someone suggested that we go out and party. So we got changed up and went to a party, a club, Casablanca's out in Minneapolis, and Prince was there. Well, Jerome Benton, he remembered me from going to the hotels after the concert with my best friend, and he grabbed my hand. He's like, hey. I was like, hey. He's like, somebody wants to meet you. And that's when it happened.
Can I ask you a question?
At the age of 21.
Can we back up? What you said y'all went to the hotel. Did y'all meet them at that time or something?
Okay, so I didn't meet Prince. Prince saw me, and that was the time where we finally made eye contact. Now, the group at the time, my best friend started dating Jesse Johnson. So that's how we were able to connect that last time.
Gotcha.
So I was wearing a polka dot vintage style outfit, and that's where the polka dots came from.
Huh.
It was when Prince and I actually saw each other.
Okay, wow.
At the age of 21.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So, because he later asked me if I still had that dress.
That's not the dress you're wearing on the album cover, is it?
No, no. That dress was long gone by then.
All right. So, wow. So it was a couple of chance meetings. You were with a friend who was a Prince. Now, let me ask you this. So you moved to Minneapolis, right?
I moved to Minneapolis a couple of times.
Okay.
I would only stay for the summer months and then move once the cold weather started kicking in around fall.
You was like, I ain't with this.
I mean, Denver's cold enough, but Minneapolis, that's a different kind of cold.
Wow. All right. So when, so with that, like, how does he approach you about this Madhouse thing? And I'm just curious, like, did you even know what it was for? You know, did he ask you, hey, I want to...
Yeah, well, now, so we're like friends, and we're just kind of hanging out. And again, you know, when I left, he would usually go on tour during the cold months. And so I would go back to my normal life in Denver. I was working at the airport, and he just called me up and said, hey, I'm working on a jazz album, and I wanted to know if you wanted to be the cover girl. And I practically fainted and was like, yeah. And so it was on.
Wow. What was
and you know, so well, so they had to fly me out to LA and to do the cover, and the videos were done in Minneapolis. Minneapolis. And yeah, there's actually 3 covers, but only 2 was released.
Oh, so let's go back to that the photo shoot and everything in LA. Was Prince there himself? He
was there at the time of everything taking place. He wasn't physically on the scene when it was going down. So what he would always have a photographer there taking a million pictures and messaging it back and forth, because, you know, back then we didn't have the cell phones. Mm-hmm. So, and he would give his advice on outfits and, you know, the look, all that. So he played a big part in, of course, he played a big part in it all of the overall look of the cover and my look.
Whose dog was that? Do you remember whose dog?
The dog was rented. Okay. A lady owned the dog. So that dog caused a lot of problems, made the shoot a lot longer than it should have been, because he was a little busybody.
Hilarious. Now, had you done any other previous sort of modeling like this?
Not professionally, no. Just minor things in Denver for people I knew, but not professionally.
Wow.
And then once I did do the covers, and I moved out to LA probably a year after the first cover, I started getting people wanting me to, you know, do jobs and stuff, but Prince was very controlling and protective of what he started, so he did not want me doing anything else.
Really? Okay.
I still snuck in a couple of things I did, but for the most part, nothing big. Wow.
And what do you remember, like, some of the impact of that? Now, that picture was like on something? Wasn't on a video of the Fresh Prince? You had one in the background?
Yes. You know, that's a trip too, because I was talking to my best friend. Her name's Yolanda. She and I were on the phone. she was in Denver, and I was in LA, and what was that Donnie Simpson show?
Video Soul.
Yes, Video Soul. So that was playing in the background, and the video came on, and she says, "Oh my God, I just saw your picture in Fresh Prince's video." I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And so I finally got to see it, and I spotted it out, but they never told me anything.
Interesting. Did you ever go to? Well, let me ask you: did you even hear the music before it came out? Did you know, like, you knew it was a jazz album, but did he ever play any of it?
I knew. No.
Okay.
And at the time, I wasn't a jazz person, so unfortunately, I really didn't care. I was just so excited about being on the cover. I didn't really care about what the music sounded like. But they did ship me boxes of albums, and I remember when the cassettes came out, and then the CDs. Oh my God, when the CDs came out, that was a big deal. So, yeah, I got tons of merchandise that I gave all away, and posters, all that good stuff.
Were people
that I did?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say I kept none of it for myself, if you can believe that. Ridiculous.
Really? You just giving them
away.
I
was just gave them away, and when you're young like that, and you're just running around and here and there, I just wasn't thinking that someday I would want all that stuff.
Wow. Now and I got to remind people, this is before social media. And before before the DMs,
right?
So, like, did you ever go out and people sort of like, hey, you look familiar? Or were there any of that type of stuff?
Yes, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. What's also funny is that when I first moved to LA, a lot of people thought that I was Lisa.
Hilarious.
Isn't that hilarious? And I know it's just because of the big boobs, but I think her boobs are bigger than mine. I think. And so.
Oh my goodness. I can see
it was pretty funny.
That's why Lisa was big back then. Coat Jam. Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, the second album, 16, what was that like? You didn't shoot all these at the same time, did you? These covers?
No.
Okay. So how did he come to you at this one?
Well, you know what? It just became a thing. Like, okay, so when 8 came out and the first single was 6, and, we did a video actually for that album, and for whatever reason, they didn't release it. Yes, it was not released though.
Wow.
And then,
do you remember
what? Just a continuing.
What you were doing? Go ahead. Do you remember what the video was about?
Yes, I was. He described it as garage type jazz, that kind of gritty thing. And so there was I basically remember having to walk down an alley and in a fur coat, and I don't even remember which song. It might have been 8. I don't even remember. But we did a couple of scenes with me, and then that was it. Like, I didn't know if they were doing other stuff with the band or what was going on, but they just ended it. They'd never finished it.
Oh, so you've never seen a finished version of this?
I never did. No.
Okay. Wow. That's probably
and he was pretty good with showing me like his projects. He would show me, like he showed me Under the Cherry Moon before it was released, and Sign of the Times video, small movie video thing. But no, I didn't see that one.
Did you ever see, was it The Hard Life? And I'm only asking because I know they featured. Oh, you did? Okay.
I did. Now, so Prince and I, we dated off and on for years. And what ended everything was because I got pregnant with my oldest son. And then I think that's when The Hard Knock Life came out, somewhere during that time or after my son was born. Yeah.
Was this before or after?
Because I was like, hey.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Well, I was going to ask you, was it before the second album? But I don't want to interrupt what you were going to say.
It was after. It was after the second album.
Okay. All right. Man.
As far as I remember. So, because I thought it was like early 90s, like 91, 92. Can you guys fact
it would have
check
been
that? No,
80.
I'm kidding.
It would have been like 87.
Well, the second
The Hard Knock Life?
was,
Yeah,
the second
yeah.
album was what, 88, 89?
They both those albums came out in the
Okay,
same
then
year.
I'm thinking of something else then. I'm not thinking about that one then.
Oh, well, what you talking about?
Because I thought you guys were talking about this long-ass video that was made, and it had the Madhouse guys in it that became the NPG.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a minute.
No.
No. You
Then
are
that
talking
wouldn't have
about-
been 87.
I'm talking
That's
about the
something
one that Jill's in it. It came out right around Sign of the Times, and Wally is in it. It's about Wally and his other buddy and their little mishaps. But they have the live band playing Madhouse songs in it. But you are talking about maybe the Diamonds and Pearls?
No.
Okay, so
And
you
that's
dropping something new on
That's
us
another
then.
thing.
Oh, well.
Okay, so I might have things backwards then, because Diamonds and Pearls album, I was actually supposed to do a video with him to the song Gett Off. But
Really?
that's when I ended up getting pregnant.
okay.
That ruined everything.
Wow. Okay, didn't
Right.
know about that. Oh, so
Yeah,
maybe
bit of
you were going to be
information.
in one of those, the long form Get Off video, and there was different versions of the video. I wonder if that was what you were going to be a part of that.
Well, I was supposed to. He was going to. Okay, so when Erotic City came out, originally it was supposed to just be played in First Avenue. It wasn't supposed to be like this big to-do. And that's kind of what he wanted to do with the song Get Off. He said, hey, I want you and I to do this video together. I'm going to have them send the music to you, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do a video. We're going to show it. It's going to run at First Avenue. I'm like, oh, exciting. Let's do it. And he went off to Europe, and I went on a blind date. And
Ooh, okay. Say no more.
and yeah. And then I had to let him know he was on his way back after I think it was like he was gone for 2 months maybe. And I said, well, there's something I got to tell you.
Wow. What song did that inspire, I wonder?
What? I have no idea. I have no idea.
How did he take this news, if you remember?
Well, he was a very prideful man, and really shocked. He was very shocked. He was very disappointed because there was a short period where I had gotten married, and I was married for 2 years, and he was very unhappy about that. So he and I had re-picked up our relationship, and then this happened. And, my girlfriends were always like, oh, my God, I can't believe how crazy you were. You were, like, out there doing your thing. I was like, because he was out there doing his thing. So I'm not going to sit back and just wait for a phone call is how I thought about everything. Sure, that's Prince, but still.
All right. Yeah. Wow. So, man, you kind of blowing my mind with some of this stuff. But I want to go back. Let's just go back to the second album real quick. So you guys do, and you guys you guys do a video for 13 for that one that was released, right? And I don't know if you know this. I mean, I told you, but during the last Prince celebration thing at Paisley Park, the band, the New Funk Soldiers, they playing live, and they had like a video sort of synced up with them. And one of the songs they did was 13, and they had that video playing, but they also had these young girls, like a dance troupe, perform as well. It was so dope, like the way they were cutting it together.
Oh, wow. I would love to have seen that.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. What was
That's
it like
awesome.
shooting that video? And if I'm not mistaken, did Kat choreograph that, help with that video? Do you remember?
You know what? This is really bad. This is really bad because I don't remember. I remember Kat being there, so she probably did. I remember her being there during the shoot. So somebody taught us the steps. That must have. Oh, you know what? She may have, because I remember the guys were dancers anyway. The Madhouse dancers who became the, new power generation guys. They were dancers to begin with. So I remember they made up their own steps and routine. Now, who all threw it together, I cannot remember. Because I didn't do much. I just kind of.
You just walked.
I just kind of walked. Right, exactly.
You ain't got to do too much.
I wanted to dance now. Hold up. I can't sing.
Yeah, I don't think BET was ready.
My life.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I don't know if we would have been ready for all that. That would have been.
But I could dance back then, but he didn't want me to, so I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow. All right. Yeah, to see the video, because like I said, we have been looking at the covers, and look, we was young men back then looking at the cover, like, man, and then to see it when it came on BT, forget about it. I was like, good Lord, I was like, come on now. I was like, why Prince got all the fine ones? That doesn't make no sense.
I cannot lie. I was watching Donnie Simpson one day after, between classes in college, and I hear the song 10. I'm like, what's that? I look to the screen, and I see this yellow dress walking across the bank setting. I'm like, okay, let's just stop what we're doing right now and get a good look at this. And then they said, this is, the new Madhouse. I'm like, okay, let me go pick that one up.
It was pretty fun. If you guys look at, I'm going to tell you a couple things about the 8 album. I don't know if you have it in front of you, but if you don't, you'll go back and look at the picture. The front cover, to get the dog to stand up like that, because, the pictures we usually don't get it on the first try. It's like after 50 shots. And so there is a piece of hot dog between my fingers because they didn't edit it out. It's plain as day if you really look. And the dog, that's the way to keep the dog up.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm looking at trying to zoom in. I'm like, what? That's funny.
Do you see it?
I can't at the moment. I can, but trust me, I will be all in there.
Oh, okay. And then under my knees, because we first shot on Malibu Beach, and I got this crazy tan on my legs, so we moved it indoors. Because the sun was too bright. The shots weren't coming out right. So we had to do an indoor shooting. And so that fake sand that I'm on, so it's killing my knees. So they put paper towel up under my knees, and you can see that too.
I can see that now.
I can see the paper towel.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Interesting.
I'm like, geez, you guys is airbrushing. You didn't do a very good job. They didn't do it at all.
Hey, we weren't focused on that. Everybody looking at, is that paper down there? Like,
that's pretty hilarious.
Oh man, but yeah, this was I remember when the 12-inch 6 came out. That picture was like, who was that? You had the big hat on and stuff.
Oh, the Betty Grable pose. I hated that picture. I was like, because I didn't know that it was just the single. I wasn't paying attention to the actual number. It was only 6 and not 8. It's just that when I got it, I told him, oh my God, nobody gonna know. They're not gonna know it's me, and I don't have a booty like that. Why did you take a picture of my butt? So anyway,
oh my goodness,
it worked out though.
My goodness. And then with the second album, what I really loved was when the 12 inches. What was the one with the blue outline? I should know this, but because all of them had the yellow, and then there was the one that had.
Are you talking about the third one that wasn't released?
No. I'm talking about the 12-inch singles. There was it was a close-up picture.
Oh, it was a green outline.
Green. Okay, I'm sorry. Green. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't like that picture.
Really?
Yeah, no, I didn't like it because, again, the airbrushing wasn't popping back then, at least not for them, whoever did it. And when they would do my makeup, this is me being vain, they would put so much powder on my face, and in that picture, I could see the powder. Like, I just didn't like it.
Okay.
Anyway. But what was your question about it?
Well, no. I was just saying I love that it was the color was different. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we used to be like going to the store and we would search and we would see those. It'd be just like jewels jump out of this, the rack. It's like, I gotta get it, And we'd have them on a wall and everything. So
that's awesome.
That was dope. And
that's
again,
awesome.
We wasn't looking at the makeup and all that. We just like, baby girl is good.
Yeah, that's just me. Yeah. Hey, but did you guys see? There is a fake Madhouse out there with this pretty girl who's bent over a trash can.
Now, this is going to be funny to you. You know who made that?
Who?
I did.
What?
Are you kidding me?
Not at all.
Oh, you almost made me say a bad word.
No, it was. No, go ahead. But see, here's the thing. I was such a fan of it, and I was just like, God, I wish they could make another one. Of course, I could not find a picture of you, but I found this picture of, I can't think of her name right now. She's actually the wife of the rapper Gucci Mane.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, man, I was just like, I want to do this for myself. It kind of went out there and got spread around, but yeah, I actually did made that, but it was all in love, so it was no disrespect to me.
Let me tell you. So I don't know if you saw, because I can't remember who posted on their page and asked if it was me, and then somebody tagged me and I jumped in and I was like, she's a really pretty girl, but Prince would never have me bent over a trash can, practically naked. He wanted Madhouse to be very classy.
Well, again.
I didn't know. Since I know it's you, okay, fine.
Hilarious.
Damn, Mike.
Well, again, my lizard brain, the times have changed. We have moved more to a more ratchet time. So I was like, well, if it was today, this is what it would be. But,
hey, that's the hip-hop version of Madhouse.
See, there you go. That's funny that you saw that.
Funny.
But then there is the obviously there's I think 2 unreleased versions of 24, but there's the version that you shot a cover for that, right? The 24.
I did shoot a cover, yeah. Unfortunately, that's one of his projects that got shelved because I was told that he lost a lot of money on Under the Cherry Moon, and so some certain projects had to get shelved. I don't know for a fact because he didn't tell me that himself. So that's what I was told. But then he came out with 1-800 New Funk. Remember that?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Where you could buy stuff. So that album was on there to purchase at one time. But that's one of the covers I never received. So I never got anything from it. Mm-hmm.
It was like a very different color scheme on that one.
They were trying to do more futuristic.
Okay.
Still trying to have the pinup vibe, but more futuristic, and it just didn't come out as sexy as the other two.
All right.
And I always wanted to do one last cover, and thinking, oh yeah, he could do Jazz for the Grown and Sexy or something. Okay, I don't know. Okay. And have it really be sexy. You know what I mean? But that never happened.
Okay. Now you mentioned Diamonds and Pearls and Gett Off, excuse me. What? So you were going to possibly be in the Diamonds and Pearls thing. Was there any other sort of projects you guys talked about doing? You remember?
No. My whole purpose, because it was me that really went after the whole idea of I'm going to work for Prince. And now that this whole law of attraction, manifestation stuff has been huge in the past decade with people, I didn't realize that's what I was doing way back then in my 20s. But I would dance to his music every fucking day. Whoops, sorry.
Are you good? We grown here.
Sorry.
Tell her how you tell it.
I would be in front of the mirror visualizing myself being in a movie of his or a video of his, and everybody around me, my friends, my sisters, they'd be like, why do you think the prince is going to want to work with you? As many beautiful women as he know, I'm like, he's going to want to, because I know. I just knew after that meeting with me in the polka dot dress, I knew something was going to go down, and I would not mess around with him physically until I felt like I had something solid, because I already had met girls that he had gotten with and kicked to the curb. I'm like, that's not going to be me. So, and it worked.
He said, wow. What no, I mean, that's a very powerful thing to say, you know, that the visualization, you know, you're dancing to his music. Like, what was, if you want to talk about it, what was it like to be in a relationship with him? You sort of talk about he would be gone and out and doing his thing, and then he would come back, but then you would go back home. Was it a long distance type of thing, or was it kind of?
Well, so I mean, everybody knows if you're with someone like Prince, you are not the only one. That's just how it is. And so my ego, being as large as it was, I couldn't accept that. Even though it was Prince, it wasn't acceptable to me. So that's why I continued to do my thing. So yeah, when he would be out of town, I would be doing my thing. I'd be dating, and like I said, I got married for a short time frame and divorced, and then, you know, had a son. So, but being with him, it was like being a princess. Okay. It was unreal, really. He was very kind and generous and sweet and fun, and anything that it was a dream. Honestly, I'm not even, you know, exaggerating. It was, you know, we would have matching limousines, or, and you got to remember, I'm this girl from Aurora, Colorado. You know, I wasn't used to, you know, expensive things and being treated like a queen or a little princess, and you know what I mean? So when I would fly in town and I have like a Rolls Royce picking me up, it's like, whoa. And I'm like looking around to see who's looking at me. Well, let's see who's looking at me in this Rolls Royce. And then nobody would be looking at me, because everybody's in limousines and Rolls Royces out here in LA, so nobody cares.
Wow.
Okay. And so it was really, he was a really, really good man.
All right. And then, just like you said, he went off. He'd have to go handle his business and doing a tour or something, and you would be like, okay, life ain't stopping, I guess, right?
Right. I couldn't be that one that just kind of sat around and waiting for him to call and come through and all that. But best believe, when he called, I was ready for the call, and when he came through, I was ready to go.
And were you was Paisley Park? You ever go to Paisley Park when he was there and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's like your earliest recollection of that?
Let's see. Gosh. Trying to think, was it before? I think he had just gotten Paisley Park the first time that I went there. I think it was before the first cover came out. Okay. And I went there. So I don't remember much, because, you know, we would go to a certain studio and we would stay there. And then when the covers did kick in, I would fly out to Minneapolis to shoot the videos. Okay. So, yeah. And I don't have...
Oh, that's cool. That's a long time ago.
Memory.
Definitely a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now you have... we sort of talked about this before the show started offline, but there's an event coming up in Sacramento. I want to make sure that we mention this. Tell us about this.
Okay, so I have a good friend, Richard Hallmark, who is a Sacramento designer, and This particular show is Prince inspired. It's on June 8th, the day after Prince's birthday. So it is, he's done a line of clothes inspired by the looks of Prince throughout the many years. And Jill Jones will be there to perform. And of course I'm hosting. Okay. Richard and I have been friends for quite some time. He knows all the Prince women, and he has done clothes for quite a few of them for shows that they've done with Prince. And yeah, he's pretty amazing.
Wow. And this is this is Sacramento. Big Sexy, this is in your area.
That's right, Big Sexy.
Yes, oh, Big Sexy will be there in the building, trust me.
Okay. Okay, so you're going to have to hit me up when you get in the building.
You ain't said a thing. Well, I'll definitely hit you up, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to meeting you as well.
All right.
Awesome. Same here.
And this is so June 8th, Saturday at the Mix downtown?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a complimentary.
Tickets are
free thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's complimentary.
Wow, shoot, say that.
Yes.
All right.
They have some items too that you know, they'll be selling Madhouse stuff and Jill Jones things and
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, looking forward. I wish if I was in that area, I'd be up in there for sure, checking that out. And I'd be like, can I get a picture? Now, are you going to be in there with the Madhouse dress on? I'm acting stupid.
No, I'm not. You know what? Look, let me not trip because, you know, that dress, you're speaking of the yellow one, of course, right?
Oh, yes.
Because the other one is just way too much. I wouldn't wear that one on the beach even if I could. But, yeah, the yellow one.
Where is that dress?
If I still look the same, I would wear it. But this is 30 years later, and I still look good. But back then, at 24, 25, come on now.
Wow. Where do you know where that dress is?
I'm not even going to try to hype myself up like that right now because back then it was popping.
Hilarious. Do you know where that dress is at?
Yes. So when Prince passed away, I was actually devastated because Prince has made such a huge impact on my life. And I held on to all of the outfits. I have all of the outfits. Oh. And, you know, people were giving away stuff and putting stuff up for sale. And I had talked to a good friend of mine and told them that I've done nothing with these outfits. They've just been sitting in plastic over the years, and all the other ones are somewhere in a box in Denver. And so if somebody wants it, which I knew there's a lot of somebody that would, here's the story. So, I put it up on eBay, and what is that Prince website? My girlfriend's going to kill me. Prince.org. Are you guys familiar?
Yes.
Okay. So Val Margolian, she
shout
and her
out to
husband
Val.
own that site.
Yeah, shout out to Val. Good friends. Yeah, that's my people.
Yes. She says, I'm going to post it and let everybody know and this and that and the other. I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of nervous. I'm not really sure if I want to do this, but I'll put it up for like a week. And so a week came and went, and it wasn't pushing like I thought it should. So this girl hits me up out of the blue. She sends me a message, and she's telling me her life story about how Prince music saved her life. She, had come from abusive situation when she was younger, and she used to shut out the world and listen to Prince, and that would help her through her suffering. And that she was a huge Madhouse fan. So she gave me this amazing story. And so I believe that when you pass, that you're still around, your spirit is still around. So I was having conversation with Prince. Don't think I'm crazy, but I was having conversation with him saying, listen, I don't know if I should sell this to this girl. She's like really pulling on my heartstrings. So I need a sign. Okay. So, because Prince had already passed by then, as I told you. But when I first met Prince, I think because my name was kind of difficult for him to remember, I'm not sure. he told me I look like my name should be Samantha, and I should be driving around in a little red Corvette. So he started calling me Sam. So Sam became my nickname. Everybody in that entourage of people know me as Sam. So this woman sent me another email, and we're having this exchange, and it just dawned on me that her name was Sam.
Oh, wow.
Is that crazy? So that same evening, I noticed her name was Sam, and I just got like chills, and I'm like, okay, this belongs to her. So I gave it to her, and she framed the entire dress. She sent a picture to me, and it's in her living room hanging.
Really? Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow. Okay. And this is the yellow.
Even if I had the dress, I wouldn't wear it.
This is the yellow dress.
Yes, the yellow dress.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, did I tell you something else? My middle name?
What?
It's Sam. No, I'm joking.
Boy. Okay.
Sam.
I'm playing.
I got $1,000 if you wear that dress, Mike.
Well, now let me stop. Yeah, I ain't talking about the dress, but let me stop. Anyway, Ben, that's beautiful.
That's too
beautiful.
funny.
Wow. Okay, but you have all the other.
But no, I will be. Yeah, I have all the other outfits, but I will be dressed in wiggle dress, vintage dress, and accented with polka dots. Of course, that's my favorite style anyway.
Nice.
All right,
man. This was really good. Like you told some stuff we never heard before. That's very interesting. Yeah, this is very interesting. I love it. I always ask people this, but the Prince that you knew or know, what would you like us fans to remember about Prince?
Okay, so me knowing the Prince of the 80s and the early 90s, I am so happy that those 2 decades combined is when I had the pleasure of being around him, because they were so fun. And I think the 80s period was such a fun decade for music and clothing. I just have fond memories of him. And every time of being around him, it was just a fun experience. He's a very giving man. And I can't say anything that hasn't already been said. He was a perfectionist with his music, and very protective. He was very protective when I was around him. He made sure that everything was perfect. And so I don't really know what to say as far as what I would want them to know about him that isn't already known. Just for me personally, a man like that, a man that isn't your average man, to be the kind of person he was to me. Unfortunately, I have not met another person like that, another man. And that's unfortunate. Someone who is fine, who is rich, who, is in the limelight, who has women all over the place, but is still a hell of a man. He treats you like a queen. So I don't know. I don't know what to say.
No, you said no more. You said what you said. I love it. Okay. Manisa, Sam.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
I answered to all of those.
Say it again. You answered all.
You're welcome.
Well,
yes.
I tried to be respectfully, as I told you, respectively persistent over the times, asking you to come on, and I'm glad you made me wait and blessed us.
You know what? Thank you for your patience. I am not, I don't try to come off as this person who thinks she's all that, because I don't. Sometimes I'm up for an interview, and sometimes I'm not. And so, like I said, I've passed on quite a few. So you're the first in 4 or 5 years.
Well, we appreciate that very much. That definitely means a lot to us. I don't know how big you are on social media, but is there a place where listeners and fans can reach out to you at all online, or do you have a website or something?
Well, I don't have my own website, but I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And by the way, there is a fake Instagram, and I don't know how, to get. Yeah, it has my album cover as the picture, and has Manisa, I think. But my Instagram has my picture on it.
Okay.
So
what's your Instagram?
My face, and not the album. Maneca Lightner.
Okay.
I think the fake one is just Manisa.
Interesting. I never understood how people do the fake person account. It just seems so much work. Like, why would you want to do that?
Exactly.
Why? Right.
And they get exposed eventually anyway.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Yeah, they go too deep. It's too deep. All right. So definitely, hit her up on Instagram. Of course, if you're going to be in the Sacramento area, you want to go out to the event on June 8th. And I'm sorry, Richard, what's his last name? I'm going to shout him out.
Hallmark.
Shout out to
Richard Hallmark.
And Jill Jones.
That's right.
Shout out to Jill. Love it. I'm curious, did you ever meet Jill back then when you were around?
No, Prince was good at keeping us separated. He was good, because let me tell you, talk about a playboy, he was doing the most. He was doing the most.
Hey, it's so funny because, just looking at it as an outsider again, as a fan, you'd be like, man, you got this person over here, these beautiful artists and all this. And in my mind, I always thought, man, I wonder if he ever just like went to the dark side, like, yo, I'm actually... Yeah, I'm with, and I always wonder, would he ever have that sort of player side? So it's interesting when I hear about like, well, yeah, Prince, I would see him sometimes, and this person, that, no. I'm like, okay, he was a dude. He was a man, I ain't mad at him.
Oh my gosh, please. Prince was Mr. Player. He still treated you like gold, but.
But no doubt. No, I'm sorry, let me stop.
Right. Hey, it is what it is.
Hey, I ain't mad at him. A lot of us would have probably...
I wasn't mad at him either.
Hey, say that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Again, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. As, we always say, before I say what I always say, make sure you go to our website, podcastjuice.net. And if you haven't already, join our Patreon page. Support us that way. Also get them the T-shirts. We've been loving, people have been sending them pictures of them wearing the T-shirts and whatnot. Shout out to Big Sexy, and Manisa. We want to see a picture with y'all at the event. Hopefully we can make that happen. And as I always say, work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.